Hi and welcome back. As you can see, our firewall is a little rusty. So, because of the firewall being so rusty, we're going to have to pull the engine out and everything, pull the front clip off so that we can get to the firewall so we can reinforce all that. So we've already got the hinges off the fenders. I've got everything disconnected on the engine up here other than the vacuum modulator line, which we'll take off a little bit down the road when we get more ready to pull the engine out. But I've pretty much been focusing on, if you come up here and look, you can see the radiator's gone, the fans are out, there's a bunch of parts over there. We got the grill and the valance for the front bumper off, the headlight bezels. We're about ready to pull the core support, and then we'll start working on the fenders, and then we'll start stripping the rest of the stuff off the firewall over there, and then we should be about ready to pull the engine out. You know, on a old 350 like this, there's not a whole lot to do with it, so to get it to pull out. So once we get to that point, we'll be back.
Welcome back to Broke Snipes Garage. Today I've been working on the dash, pretty much getting the panel made. We didn't like how it looked around here, so we built this surround for the steering wheel. Once we get everything into place, it'll clean it up and make it look hopefully almost professional. But now the plan is to take it out, clean up the edges, put some trim around the outside, and then start looking at holes for the for our gauges. They're going to go right up in here. Once we get that back or done, we'll show you some more updates on this.
All right, welcome back. I think we have discovered we needed to go check our records and make sure our tetanus shot was up to date, because we both gotten cuts and everything from all the rust on this truck.
Speaking of rust, Christmas in February, Santa Claus showed up, brought us some new body panels, and our outer rocker panels, cab corners, and body mounts. Super excited about all this.
Yep, so now the real fun begins. We get to start trying to cut out parts and replace them. The hardest part about this is going to be getting the floor pans, like I said before, getting the floor pans replaced too. So we got to order those still, and then we're probably just gonna do the firewall ourselves. I don't think we may order the shave kit for it to do that, but we may just end up doing it ourselves. We'll see how frisky we get when we're working on it, if we decide that we want to try and make the panels ourselves or if we want to order them. But slowly but surely making progress. I know right now it looks like we're going backwards, but that's because we just wanted to make sure we got the engine and drivetrain was all good before we started spending any time and effort on the body.
Yeah, there's no point in doing body work if the engine's trash.
Yep. So now it's just finish tearing stuff apart. Yep. And he's going to start working on the bedside, right? Again, the other side, and get that fixed. And then I'm going to continue on with the fender and core support and get those off, the other fender and core support, and get those off.
Oh, update on the dash. I did get the
yeah,
the small gauges in. We'll show you a picture of that later on. But I think it looks pretty good. Needs a little bit of polishing on the diamond plate, but hey.
Yep. And then we'll be getting the seat out here soon too, so that we can make sure the floor under that pretty sure that's all solid underneath there, but
You never know.
we've had a few surprises already, so we're not counting on that. And we seem to have ants living in here too. You can't see any right now, but there was a bunch of little ants crawling around right there in the door jamb when I went to take that apart. So we'll have to do some extermination too.
Great.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back later. All right. Welcome back. As you see, we got the front clip off. Kevin, we said earlier, Kevin got the dash pretty much put together, mocked up and everything, ready to take back apart and do the finishing touches on. What we discovered today is this thing's got more holes in it than my underwear. So what else did you get done today?
Welded up all the holes in the driver's side bed. That was not easy. This side's a lot thinner, so it would blow through a lot easier. So I had to build it up. Kind of a pain, but we'll get it there.
We got pretty much everything stripped off the firewall on both sides, other than the panel right there with the master cylinder on it, and we got to take the steering wheel all apart, everything, in order to get that out. We got the brackets all off the front. He painted the springs for the hinges. We got to clean the hinges up and everything before we can do those. What else we got? Oh, we got to disconnect the fuse panel from the firewall, and then I think that's it for the firewall. And then we got to get a cherry picker and engine stand, or engine hoist and engine stand, or I don't know if we're gonna get an engine stand or if we're just gonna get a tire, and tire works good for that. Yeah, we're broke. We'll probably just use a tire to set the engine on. And then I think we'll probably take off the headers, clean those up. If we don't end up getting long headers for it, we'll at least get these ones cleaned up and painted. We might go around the block and clean it up and tape it off and paint it. We're definitely going to clean up the brackets that go around everything, and the power steering pump, and over here with the tensioner and everything, and get those painted. And I guess we'll see you again next time. You got anything else?
All
right.
Welcome back to Broke Snipes Garage. Today we're gonna get working on pulling that engine and transmission out so we can start body work and get everything cleaned up, get the frame clean and everything.
Yeah, we're gonna the body work's probably gonna take us a few weeks because we're new to body work. We've never attempted any kind of body work before, ever. So this is gonna be something new for us. The pulling the engine and trans and separating them. I used to have engine stand and cherry picker and everything, but yeah, I stopped working on cars for quite a while being in the Navy, so I sold all that stuff. So I went and spent a bunch
ago, right?
Yeah. I kept it for years and moved it around with me and never used it, and then finally decided I was going to get rid of it and got rid of it, and now we're starting to do stuff on cars again. So I had to go out and buy a whole new cherry picker. We got an engine stand over there. Bought a blast cabinet so that we can sandblast stuff. We bought a pressurized sandblaster for planning on sandblasting the frame and everything.
Bigger compressor for the block box.
We ended up getting a bigger compressor for the blast box and everything. So I went and spent a lot of money. So the wife's not going to be happy about that. Bye, honey. I love you.
Now you're in the doghouse. Well, let's get to it.
Yep. All right. Turn 2. And we got the transmission stuck back in the back, engine on the stand now, so it's all good to go. That's basically where they're going to sit for a while until we get to the point of putting it back together. We got the box, most of it taken off. We just got to do the bed still, which is going to be fun because it's pretty much all carriage bolts and there's no wood left to hold the bars up. They kind of flop down on a lot of it. So amazingly, I love Southern vehicles because we're both from Michigan originally, so we like working on these Southern vehicles because we only broke 2 bolts so far. I think the whole time that we've been taking stuff apart on this box. Pretty much everything else came out. We had to, on the screws that went to hold the fenders in, we had to use the grinder and cut a big slot in them and use the big slot bit here to actually drive them out. And that worked really good. Even though they were just stripping out in the screw holes, once we used the grinder on them and did that, took them right out. I don't think we even had any of those break. So now we're going to go ahead and start working on getting the rest of this box apart and then stripping the rest of the wiring, because as you can see, pretty much all that's left of the wiring is the tail lights wires running back. So we're going to strip all that out because we're going to put new in because those ones are pretty brittle and shot anyways. Once we get this all stripped off and everything, then we're going to probably jack up the front end and start tearing the front end apart, and so we can start sandblasting the parts that we need to sandblast and getting rid of the junk ones, which there's quite a few of those up there. Yeah. All right, well, I guess let's get to work. Yeah. All right, welcome back. Kevin's behind the camera right now. We just wanted to show you, we recorded an outro last night, but we got the bed all off. We found out after that our mic receiver died, so we're just going over again, showing you we got the box all off. And amazingly, we only broke 2 bolts. We love Southern vehicles. It turned out pretty good. The frame is pretty solid. There's a little more body work than we thought on the box that needs to be done, but really still not very bad. It's just a few things more than what we thought. Now we're getting ready. Now that the engine's all out and transmission, we got the cross member out for the transmission so we can clean that separate because it's pretty gunked up because the tranny was leaking pretty bad. We're gonna roll it outside and power wash it, clean it all up good, and then bring it back in. You know, we got to take it out and show it some love. We're going to take the seat out so that we can power wash the inside too, and we'll let you guys see a little bit of that. All right, welcome back. It's been a few days. We've been doing some little stuff, odds and ends. We got the seats out, everything's power washed, the back's off. We told you guys about that already, but we got more stuff stripped off the firewall in the front. All the wiring's out. The dash is all completely stripped back out of it again. We sandblasted some of the parts. Now we're getting ready to start working on the body work. We already cut the cab corner here on the driver's side, or on the passenger side out. And now we're working on getting the rocker panel out so we can do that. Our floor pans should be here at any time. You got anything?
Take the camera down and walk them around?
Yeah, we can do that. We got it braced right here so that the door opening doesn't try to open up when we cut the rocker and everything out.
We'll show you closer to that in
Yeah.
just a second. Okay, like Corey mentioned, we put a brace in so that the cab stays true when we're taking off the bottom. We've already got the cab corner off. We do a little bit of preservation down here, get it so it doesn't rust any more than it already is. We'll take off this bottom rocker panel. As you can see, we've got the dash all torn apart. Steering column's out of it, laying on the floor. 100% of the wires are out of the truck. Got the frame pretty much stripped down. One thing we got to do is take those brake lines off and put them back to where they're supposed to be, so we don't have to worry about them rubbing on the frame and popping a hole. There's no brakes going on the road. It's not cool. Master cylinder was flash rusting really bad all of a sudden because it's been kind of humid down here. So we hit it with some more rust reformer paint, so it'll stay black and it'll eat the rust. And back here, after Corey power washed it, this frame looks really good. Quick coat of paint, it should look like new.
And we got the new cab mounts already ordered and on their way, so cab mounts and core support mounts.
Yeah, if any of you have ever done cab mounts, you know this is no bueno. We ended up taking 2x4s and putting in their place so that we knew that the cab was square to the frame. That way everything, once we put it back together and start welding, everything's good to go. Like I said, steering column's out, we even pulled the steer gear. That way we can get this thing cleaned up, looking good.
We're gonna end up on the front axle here pulling all this front cross member and control arms and all that off. We're gonna order all new steering parts and control arm bushings and everything, because as you can see they got like 1 inch or more of shims on both sides trying to keep the camber where it's supposed to be because the bushings are so shot. So we're gonna fix all that. So
that's what we're working with now, so we have some more updates we'll bring you back, show you what we got going.
all right, welcome back to another day at the shop.
Week.
Yeah, week, month. So we've got the whole passenger side all done now, finally, after weeks, it feels like months, but don't like body work so much.
Yep, not so much.
So
So I guess we can start up here. We shaved the firewall like we said we were. It's all one piece now, all the way over. We still got to finish that side, but we haven't even started on the passenger side or driver side. Wrapped around, fixed some stuff up here. All these holes that you saw before, they're gone. Actually, looks like it's supposed to be.
yep. These ones were, some of these were real tricky trying to fill these with weld and everything, but we got them. There's a little bit of Bondo, of course, to make it look right, but it's all been rebuilt with steel, so it's not, it's just a thin coat of Bondo to
Help
cover it up,
shaping.
yeah, for shaping. So the whole floor pan's in. We had to do some tricky stuff in the hump there for the seat to go on. So,
Everything's primed, ready to go.
yep. I mean, we still got to do, finish sanding and all that stuff to it, and all that. But we're just getting it basically to the point where it's done and primed so that we can go back later and when we get to the paint stuff and do whatever sanding we have to do there and touch up any Bondo spots, that low spots or anything like that. But we're not, like we've said multiple times before, we're not doing it perfect. We're just doing rat rods, so we might not even touch up any Bondo. We might just go through and resand them with, you know, the finer grit so you don't notice the Bondo as much where we covered up the welds and everything. But that's it for the driver's side, or the passenger side, finally.
Darn. I was hoping we were done with the driver's side too.
Yeah, I wish we were. But that side's going to be fun. So probably next video we'll be starting on the driver's side. All right.